Vlad on your platform after I watched that last episode, because I was one of those people early that was like, we shouldn't platform people that we think are taking advantage of shit. I've softened up on that if we can have real conversations to let people know. The same way you got old boy to say, oh yeah, maybe I am obsessed with Vine.
Right. And but this is what I need. But even my fans
to know. Have a conversation with you?
Vlad?
Yeah.
I'm sure he will. Like, I don't know. Now, of course, see, here's the thing about all of these industry guys. Now it makes sense to have a conversation with me. Damn it, he's established. Prior to that, it's like, duck him. Everybody don't act like you don't see him. Act like nobody act like he ain't right there. Just
so you can't avoid him. And now it's part of the
now he's part of the let's not but the thing with these guys, I know they know based on my conversation I'm equipped with a certain level of information. It's a bit spooky getting in that ring with that guy, right? And that's what I try to tell my fans is that the value of my show is so different. It's because it's like, bro, we can get into the weeds and be well okay, and a lot of these pods can't go layers in. And when you get someone like Vlad who's been operating with all of that history, and it's like sitting with me may be like, I don't know what angle this young man is gonna go, because I've smashed Adam came and sat down. Yep. He left and said, like, I kind of put him in a situation, and then the AD shit happened, because I telling him, why you don't want them guys to have a YouTube, right? And so I'm saying, I just think that, I don't know if Vlad will do it. I don't know, but I will have a conversation with him on my platform in regards to some of the things that I've seen him do and his outlook on things, because I'm very curious as to where he really sits.
And I think that's what your platform is so important with even people like Vlad, because now you've kind of forced some of those YouTubers, if you want to explain yourself, talk to you.
Yes. And you better be prepared.
But there's also value on the other side. Let's say Vlad has a compelling argument. We wouldn't know unless he talked.
Yeah.
If I sat with Vlad and had that conversation, there's not a lot of value to him even, I don't want to say winning the debate, but even giving his points.
Right.
He sits with someone like you now.
Yes.
It gives value to him if he can
can
tell that argument in the best way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to, but at least there's now a platform where that it's what I think Dame, and I don't want to tell people what they should have done, because Dame is a legend who I respect like you would not believe. But Dame having a culture vulture platform where culture vultures have to explain themselves could have been very valuable.
That's good IP.
But Dame, which I respect him so much, that would say, I'm not gonna even put a culture vulture on a platform like that.
Right.
I've softened up on that. I think these conversations
especially when you
need to happen.
Yeah.
And maybe we
Dame's
can get
one of those guys that like me that can get in there and dance with them guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it would even give some value to people that maybe have been labeled culture vultures that maybe aren't.
Right. Gives them opportunity to really put that out. Yeah, that's a great point.
I don't really know Vlad's background. I've admittedly been a critic of him, but Vlad could come up here the same way you asked me, why don't you talk your about what you do behind the scenes?
Yeah.
I mean, Vlad actually always tells his accolades, but there's people that maybe are viewed a certain way, and once they sit up on this platform, can actually have that conversation.
Yes.
And that's where I loved that last episode with the Trap Kid.
Yes.
Because he's an amazing YouTuber. That kid does a bunch of research.
I've told him that too. And
amazing at that.
Yes.
But you better relax with a 3-hour
Exactly. Because that's what I had to tell him. Yeah. I'm like, yo, hey, you know what you're doing, bro? Like, you fanned out. And that's, this is also what's happened in this space is fans have infiltrated hip hop. Mm-hmm. Right. And they now have a voice. They now have some of the most powerful players in hip hop, and they're having no consideration for the trail of people that's behind them.
Yep.
Right. You're not a fan anymore, bro. You're an outlet. Mm-hmm. Right. Even when I deal with.
You are next in line.
He's not going to be happy about the live streaming. When you get down in the weeds, I'm not even sure if they own that. The way that Joe and you guys were able to go behind to Patreon and people actually move. Go to Spotify, people actually move.
But Spotify saw that when they started their Spotify podcast program when they got Amy Schumer. Then I think they got Michelle Obama after that, and both fucking tanked because sometimes numbers and popularity don't translate in this world.
Yes. So, and that's what I mean. And where is the real value in the market? It's in podding. It's in content of some sort. Live streaming, that's a different thing. Even with him and Speed and Tiana Trump, that's a different thing, bro.
Yeah.
That's a show. Even when he's down there and he's hiring people to come in, it's like that. To me, that's what
Please try again.
was trying to do with that.
Please try again later.
Like a version of what Kai was doing, right?
Yeah,
bringing people in every week and having them, hey, let's eat this bullshit bug or let's set this on fire. It's like what Kai and them is doing in live streaming. So let me be clear. There is value in live streaming because people may try to take my argument, the internet's a weird place, and try to say, well, Loon's saying there's no value in live streaming.
I don't think that's what you're saying.
Exactly. but that's how the internet works, so I have to clarify. I'm saying that there is true value in live streaming.
You are next.
Hasn't tapped into it.
Well, I mean, the live streaming conversation in general is tough with longevity because at some point, Kai is going to get older.
But what does that turn to? What does it turn into?
Live streaming is great when you're young. Like I can even speak to now when we started the pod, I was 24, I want to say.
Right.
33 now.
Right.
I was 25, yeah. Your life changes a lot, whereas at least I was even allowed to record something and plan it, and the next day we could put it out.
Right.
That live streaming, the older you get, can get.
And that's what shows.
It's a tough world. It's so valuable right now. To your point, longevity, I'm scared to see when Kai like really gets older. I think that's a really intelligent young man.
Yeah.
And I think he's gonna pivot because he understands that like we could tell that kid's not stupid at all. That's a smart young man.
And we're gonna talk about Kai because I want to talk about that space rumble kick, all of that really quick.
But
continue.
It's gonna have to shift. Like that's even why
how do you feel about
because Kai is a young human being right now. Like he can do the live stream shit every night. That shit gets tough when you're in your 30s.
Yeah, and it gets weird when you're in your 30s sitting in front of the computer all day.
And
but I'm saying they've tricked you guys into thinking that's something. That's nothing. That's no value in the real market. Leverage that news to account. I don't know what you're doing. What's that?
Well, Lou, I guess it's trying to figure out the audience because that whole YouTube community. I remember watching YouTube with reaction videos. Yes. I was like, this is the weirdest thing. Ignorant at the time to the space because that has kind of become
a market for
the entire YouTube space at this point is the reaction to what's going on.
Yes. So
that was me being ignorant. Like I can admit that. I thought it was weird.
But it was a tweak on it. They were reacting to videos and it's like, that's a little bit, but they've tweaked it now. It seems like they're reacting to real life or paperwork and different things like that.
Which again, to me, is still weird, but you have to understand the audience that they look to a specific personality on YouTube to react to the news that's happening already. Because we all got a voice. All of us. We have Twitter. We all have an opinion. Now we can look to a specific person on YouTube to see what they feel about the situation that we're all talking about.
And I don't think, even with that, like,
I think it's weird. I want to make that clear.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be willfully ignorant in knowing that is what the space is right now.
To use that bullshit noise against real business and say, I'm bigger than y'all because he's been able to get money. Again, I'm saying value. Value and money is different.
Well, this ties back to our older conversation when you were saying the fans don't know how much you do behind the scenes for podcasters. Everyone in business knows what I do for podcasters. So when I bring somebody to a specific company, an agency, anything, they know I'm batting 1,000. I come with something that's real, that's going to work. So my reputation there is valued. And if everyone thinks otherwise in the entertainment world, it doesn't change my value because if you look at the stats, I'm here.
Right, but
so that's also the same way with you and I can disagree in thinking it's weird as that these people are doing these reaction videos and there's no actual value to it. There is in the long run.
I'm not saying the reaction video.
I'm not
saying that. Let's not say that.
Personality.
I'm not saying the reaction videos. The reaction videos is a thing. Podcasts in some form is reacting to videos, right?
Yeah.
People oftentimes pull up something and and then talk about it. So that's a form of the reaction thing. That's not what I'm saying.
And I'm saying that there is value to it to some degree.
It's
building up a personality to eventually maybe get that person a podcast.
This is what I didn't like what they were saying.
We were at Spotify when they gave it to Amy Schumer and Michelle Obama, who had the biggest platforms ever, and they failed miserably and devalued what we were doing at the time as well. We should have got what Amy Schumer, Michelle Obama, we got all combined.
Right.
That's all.
Right.
But that was then and this is now, so I totally understand where a Spotify would go, well, let's give it to the person that moves the most numbers at the current time.
I believe this deal to be over. I believe that deal to be over. At that time, it made sense that they were already over betting. They were already in the weeds. They were already all in. We're in on pod. Is number one also, and me and Charlamagne got into the weeds about this. YouTube isn't a safe place to build to build your business.
They devalue the content
at all times and at any time. They can just make a decision that, yo, hey, we're not messing with dudes that even talk about rap no more, and all your gets demonetized. They can make a decision and say, yo, if is in anything, it's done for. Now that creates a job. Not only does it demonetize you, it now places you the way you have to spin to fix it. And that's because you've built it all on YouTube. I've come from the streets. I won't forecast on something that doesn't allow me to forecast.
Yes.
You know, this YouTube I can't forecast because I don't know what's happening with it.
Yes.
So when they compare these guys who have nothing but a lot of YouTube videos that has no value anywhere else, because if it did, they would leverage it, i.e. Andrew Schultz. Turn your phone this way. He took that from Instagram to Netflix because clear value was there.
And shout out to Alex who was editing that.
Yes.
That was genius during the pandemic. The way I view YouTube, and I mean, I'm sure under the comments now they'll say how ignorant I am, but I've studied this space for so long. To me, YouTube is the best promotional tool that can maybe cover your production nut.
Yes.
It can cover the money you get for it can help just your production.
Yes.
You may break even, but it's the best promotional tool on earth because the community is right there.
100%.
So yeah, YouTube is fucking all of us. And they're going to keep this on here and not devalue it because they're the biggest gangsters on earth.
Yes.
We can say, yo, you f***ing us, but we still going to be here.
Right. Because we can't go anywhere.
We can't go anywhere.
Everyone's
here. You have the community.
Yeah.
But it is valuable with the community, and it can give you at least enough money to cover your production overhead for the month. So there is a lot. You can then take that footage, put it on Instagram. Like, it does help. It's just never going to be the end all be all because they have the shit monopolized. Like, it's they have taken visuals and monopolized that.
Yeah, they are killing.
We watch, all right, Spotify, even if you look in the DSPs, Apple is Apple. The fact that Spotify is the biggest DSP when it comes to music is insane when you're dealing with Apple being the next competitor. So to put that in perspective, when it came to podcasting and they wanted to put the video element in there, that shit damn near, I don't want to say ruin Joe Rogan because you can't ruin Joe Rogan. He's one of the biggest podcasters ever. His value has dropped like you would not believe because he could only put clips on YouTube. His clips have more value than his Spotify visuals. That's what's so crazy.
Do you think that? He's doing 11 million an episode. He's doing 50 million a week.
To make it exclusive on Spotify for video, which I understand why Spotify.
He's doing 50 million on that a week. Is what the numbers I'm getting when I talk to people who's in his camp.
From Spotify?
Yes. When you go on Spotify and play it, it plays audio and video. There's it just doesn't play video if the phone is closed or something. So that one click operates as
both.
Yes.
I'm aware.
Yes.
But when they were bringing that feature into it was actually when we were at Spotify and coming to the end of that deal. That was a big issue for everybody. Like, YouTube is where that community is. You're not going to get
but they're
everyone
not going to pay you.
And that's why they even switched it from where it's audio and video at the same time. Because at one point they just wanted to make it just audio. A video thing and just an audio thing because they're a music-based company. And
it costs money to get that video portion of it on a big platform like that and just say upload 100 and whatever episodes you have. Like, that's a lot of cloud storage. There's a lot of tech involved in that.
All right, how do I word this correctly with the tech side? When was the last Joe Rogan moment you know of?
I watch all the time, so.
When was the last moment?
Viral moment?
When was the last moment?
A lot of that COVID
Dave
shit.
Chappelle was on that shit, and most people didn't know.
No, that's not true.
I'm saying
that's not true.
Listen,
that's
that
not
him
true.
leaving YouTube
Are you listening?
was a huge devalue
here
of
we
how
go.
he's seen.
Debate popping. Debate popping.
Join.
No.
I'll take some more wine.
Debate popping.
I'm not talking about his numbers because you can fluff every number on earth, and I'm not shitting on Joe Rogan by any means.
You mean impact? It's hot in here. You got a fan?
Yeah, I'm sweating.
Yeah.
You don't feel like the impact of Joe Rogan outside of the biggest niche following of all time?
Since he's been over there, let me give you a couple of names: Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. Who else? The biggest name.
Matter of fact, the last viral moment I can think of Joe Rogan was when Elon Musk was smoking a cigar. I watched Joe Rogan.
See, that's what we're wrong.
No, you're talking about two people. We watched Joe Rogan.
Yes.
We with Joe Rogan.
Yes.
I'm talking about the masses.
No.
You used to get...
But this is where you're wrong, because if you're saying viral is the issue, they're not there. He's bigger than the viral game. He's no longer playing that. His regular numbers is above what viral is.
Of course.
So that speaks to impact, right? So if you are judging his impact based on viral clips, and then I'm saying every time he drops, it gets more than any viral clip that's out there, then that means his impact is still intact.
What do you think built outside of the core fan base? Because we all have our core fan bases. But what gets us to the next level sometimes is those impactful moments where you have to go wide. You have to go to the community. You have to go put your content
He's bigger
in
than
place. I know, but that's what built Joe Rogan.
Right.
And that's why he was, outside of his numbers, was able to get $300 million from Spotify. That impactful shit, once that deal is done, I don't know what that's going to look like when it comes down to just downloads.
And then he would have stayed on YouTube.
Because the impact is not driving new people. Because that at
yes,
any business,
it is. He got 2 million. If you listen to Rogan, see, that's what I'm saying.
No, he is the biggest core fan base
I
on earth.
studied this
and he's fine.
game inside out. Rogan had the that time when they colored his face when the COVID was happening, and they said he's taking horse dewormer on CNN and all of that. He got 3 million new subscribers just in that week. 3 million new subscribers to an exclusive deal behind a wall, not a paywall, but there is some obstacle to get there. You got to download, sign in, this, that. He got 3 million. It may have been 2 million. 2 million in a week. So he still is driving people there. Also, again, if we are going to judge podcasting on viralness.
That's not what I'm saying, though.
Okay, so what do you judge it impact on?
Impactful moments. We're not a guest-based podcast, but I am well aware that when we have a guest on, that there may be an impactful moment and an opportunity to get a new fan base. That's how you slowly build shit up. We're not guest-based, but that is an important portion of our podcast.
But you know, once you get
now,
so
Rogan
big,
used to have impact. I'm not saying, because viral is sullying that word. I'm talking about impactful. Sometimes some shit is viral and not impactful, but rarely is something impactful and not viral. Does that make sense? You can have viral shit that's not impactful at all. You have the Island Boys are viral. Nothing about them is impactful.
Right. That's why I said
and
we're
I'm
not
saying
talking about
Rogan
viral.
always had impactful moments that went viral, and all of that disappeared. And I think the landscape
First of all,
is going to change a bit with his value at Spotify, not in the world. Joe Rogan is going to be 100 millionaire every other day.
You're so wrong with this. I think he has Spotify by the nuts. Bro, he's reading every ad. They're literally running their whole division off of this guy. He's reading every ad. This dude is not hurting for any kind of leverage over there. I believe, again, when I say he's 11 million.
I'm not articulating myself the best way in this regard then. Yes, Joe Rogan has the most leverage on earth.
I don't
Spotify.
understand.
They fucked up so much of their podcast division in the learning process, us included in it. that they went and gave Rogan the whole bag because he had he had all the data to prove that. Now, I don't know what that looks like if Spotify even wants to keep their podcast division going the same way. Like, I feel like
they'll crash everything out and keep him.
Exactly, and I just don't think they're going to give Rogan the same amount of money they did. What was it, a 5-year deal?
They're going to double that up.
No.
He's $11 million a week.
No.
No one's even close.
Because the
call her daddy warrants $60 million, a year ago?
The funding that they put into it already, I don't think they're getting back what they thought they were going to get.
On Rogan?
Podcasting in general.
See, that's what I'm telling you. They're going to make
everything everything is a scope.
Yes,
Rogan,
but
even though Rogan is
you will
like
carve
the alien
Rogan
god.
out. You will carve Rogan out when you make decisions about podcasting at Spotify.
And I'm
any
saying,
conversation about podcasting in Spotify building, you will carve Rogan out and have a different conversation.
All right, let's say they gave Rogan $300 million for their podcast division, but within the whole podcast division scope, they spent $800 million. You think they're going to continue to do that when Rogan may be the only profitable one?
I think they
you think they're going to give Rogan, what's 8 plus 3? They're going to give him $1 billion? No. They're going to cut the whole fucking thing down.
No.
They're going to cut everything down, including Rogan.
No.
Yes.
No. And
they're going to cut the whole division down.
No. Yes.
They're going to cut the whole division down.
They will not touch Rogan.
Okay.
They will not touch Rogan
and I'm saying
nothing that has to do with Rogan.
He's not going to make $1 more than on the next one.
What? When he is...
The whole podcast division will be another $300 million.
Are you listening to what I'm saying? $50 million a week? Are you hearing that? Google this if you think...
I'm aware. No, I'm well aware.
$11 million every time I press upload. Do you understand what that warrants in this space?
Do you understand that the download theory of podcasting is changing already?
Of course, I just switched deals. Yeah, so I know when I had to negotiate.
Downloads don't mean a motherfucking thing right now.
Yeah, but
which is fucked up for us.
Yes, but
that's why I say Rogan's going to be devalued because Spotify, the same way Spotify
would the market, bro.
The same way Spotify will devalue a stream on a song. Now that we are not in the download version of podcasting anymore, because that's how we used to prove our money, our CPM, everything is gone. We are going to base our fucking CPM shit off a stream the same way music used to be, and music right now gets 0.000001 on a fucking stream. They are going to devalue us.
No,
that's why I'm saying Rogan. But downloads don't mean a fucking thing to advertise anymore.
Listen, music isn't up against ads. Pods are up against ads. That's the difference. So they have this 11 million hit thing up against 60 ads, or up against Rogan or read 5-6 ads at a time, right? So they got him with his huge audience attaching these brands, and this is how I know they're really invested. Everything is host read. So that's telling me to sell the ad, they're going in there and saying Rogan is on board. He's the big guy. And they will cut the podcast division, the podcast editors, the podcast everything, but they're going to leave Big Rogan alone. I don't see them devaluing Rogan. I don't know how in the hell you got to that. Now, I see what you're saying in regards to the blurriness of the worth of a stream, listen, download, what all of that means. But when I tell you that they just gave someone $60 million who's not even in the stratosphere of this guy, and if they were going to make that kind of, but she's not in his stratosphere.
No, of course not. That's why he got.
She's not 40, but what they're reporting for her is 60 and reporting 100 for him. So what I'm saying is that for her to get 60 and not be close to him in regards to numbers, right? Now she's great too. She's high up there, but he dominates every genre, and for him to be there. I think Spotify being that big of a company going to make that decision after Rogan's deal, they would have already implemented those changes, and they wouldn't have gave her $60 million for something that doesn't warrant as many listens as what he has.
And again, I think we're kind of saying the same thing when I say I don't think Rogan's going to get $1 more on the next deal.
How much you think he got?
That's probably close to accurate.
100 or 300?
I think it was 100 for 3 years, right? So $300 million.
Right. So if he gets, so you don't think he's going to get $300 million?
I don't know if Rogan wants to even sign back with Spotify.
I do.
That's another.
This is why. Because he spoke to YouTube. Again, this is why I try to tell these youngsters, don't let these content trick you with this YouTube talk. Because even Rogan said, you know what, YouTube f***ed me for a while. But guess what? When they heard I had that Spotify deal coming, oh, they clicked on every video to green. I had all kind of shit on yellow, not monetized. They heard Spotify was coming and I had 90 days. Hey, green everything. Because they knew, let's get this ad revenue,
of course,
while he's here.
Yeah.
Right? So Rogan even identified that YouTube isn't a safe place. And he had a relationship with YouTube. He said, I can pick up the phone and call them. Right? I had a relationship with them and I still was yellow. But when they knew that deal was coming, they cut everything on.
One of
that speaks to
my stakes was trying to place where the ads would go in my own YouTube videos. And I had a conversation with somebody at YouTube and they said, no, you have to let us do it or we're going to demonetize a lot of it. If you don't put the auto ad on, because I used to try to do how we would do our conversations. I was trying to place it
1545 like that,
And they were like, oh, you're going to cut your money in half if you do it yourself. We have to do it.
I didn't know that.
And
that's good game. And see, that's why these conversations are important. Now, I do think that Rogan lost a lot of value in this perspective because, again, it's an undeveloped market. So when you deal with podcasts, and I'm saying what built a lot of podcasts or what favored Rogan, I won't say built them because I think his content and conversation lit the way for him. But what I think helped him a lot was the fact that the algorithm on these sites, right, in regards to audio, when it says no matter what you listen to, up next was Rogan.
Yeah.
Podcast you may like was Rogan. They took him out of that. Now, that's a marketing budget that people can't even pay for to get next up on every single podcast that's being paid. Now, that's where I think he loses the discovery mode, right? But I still believe him to have immense value in the market landing over there on Spotify, and I do not see them. They will get rid of fucking that whole. They not touching Rogan. If he's the last one,
cutting down the entire podcast department the way they did, I just see
they overinvested.
Of course they did.
Yeah, so Rogan ain't the problem.
They got fucking Michelle Obama and didn't get a return.
That's just what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So now Rogan's cleaning all of that up. So next time it's gonna say, "Hey man, now we can finally make some money with you," because basically you just cleaned up all of the bullshit money that we've threw away. You know, with all of these bullshit, or not bullshit, respectfully, with all of this lost money in the market.
But I mean, how much of that do you think sticks? Like, are all Rogan fans only going to be Spotify subscribers premium? Not even the ones that do the ad?
Yeah.
Because even with Rogan, if you pay premium for Spotify, you don't get him even talking about ads.
I don't think so, yeah.
If Rogan's looking at that and you're shifting your entire business where you were going to bank your entire existence on podcasts and that's changed, do I need to stay here?
And that's the thing.
Because
he may get a better offer. Let's get the Rumble and Kick and we'll get out of here. But with Rogan, he may get a better offer somewhere else because he was already getting Daily Wire. Certain people was already trying to match that offer, give him more. If when COVID happened and Spotify act like they might get off the boat, it was companies stepping up. Hey, Rogan, they get off. Come on, we got 100. We'll give you 150. Matter of fact, if you want to leave them for even threatening to play with you like that, we got 100 over here for you. And so he warrants that in the market, right? I want to talk about this and then we'll get out of here. Cenet and a bunch of these streamer guys, they're having a beef because of this Rumble, this Kick, this Twitch situation. What's your take on it? Do you know a lot about what's going on?
Yeah. I mean, the Twitch thing is very interesting because Twitch was kind of like, almost like the early blog era Like, it was the Wild Wild West where they would allow you to do everything. That's why, like, I love Twitch so much. And they kind of took away the value of what their platform was by doing what they did to Kai and everything that's happening now. So I don't fully understand what their business plan could be. Of course, they probably know something I don't. But they took away the fun.
Kind of seemed like they crashing it out.
They took away what their value was, which was that Wild Wild West shit, which doesn't exist on the internet now because, like, everything is copyrighted and everything has a lawyer behind it and you can't do shit.
Yeah.
They were I felt like the last platform period where you could actually exist in the way we used to exist on the internet, where anything goes.
Right.
They took that away. I don't get it. For what?
Yeah.
That's a terrible business plan. Like, now you're fucked at this point.
Yeah.
Now
I don't know what they're doing.
The Rumble I don't want to speak too much to, because I saw it's a right-wing platform, all that other shit. But I do believe in free speech, and I think there should be platforms that allow...
there should be space for free speech.
As long as it's not, like, violent, hateful speech.
Yeah, it's the difference between free speech and hateful speech, and that's the conversation,
but I guess my question would be, is Rumble the new Twitch, and then Rumble goes through the same thing Twitch does, and it becomes...
But Rumble isn't attached to Amazon. So I think a lot of people are finding issue with Amazon being in control of Twitch, because Rumble uses Amazon service the same way Twitch is used, right? They all have to use the same service, and so it's a weird thing happening, but there's competition in the market. So the streamers are trying to get Cenet to leave Twitch, right? Because I think somebody said that one of the people had like 100 million for the little dude or something.
Yeah.
Like something crazy. Yes, it might have been 200 million. And now Kai's being attacked from fellow streamers, calling him, you a slave, you don't want to leave Twitch, because Twitch is banning him, demonetizing, stopping this, stopping that, right? And they won't bend a budge. If you were Cenet, would you move? Would you take the money?
Yeah.
I would too. Wow. I wonder what's stopping him from taking the money.
I think he's going to take that money. He should take that money. And that whole back and forth with other streamers is just content. It's not true. Everyone would have taken that bread as well. Like, how many people do we know?
No, they back
that have stood on the I'm never conforming to business or ever quote unquote selling out. Doing a good business deal is not selling out at all. That's actually some backward ass fucking narrative that people need to get out of their fucking head. Partnering with a corporation in the right way is beautiful.
Strategic partnerships is the best thing in life.
I never want people to get fucked over, but that doesn't make you a sellout because you went and did a deal with somebody.
Right.
Like, that's fucking nuts.
Look at this.
That's holding people back.
Right. Earn your leisure. Still recording.
You are next in line.
I sent it to you, Rory, but Andrew Tate's first stream was his comeback stream, 400.
That was with Pat Bev, right?
Yeah, that was on. He did a stream on Rumble. They did it on Rumble.
What?
Fine.
Let's talk about that for like 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah. Kai should take that money, and he should get away from Twitch if they're keep banning him on some other shit. Go take your money somewhere else. Like,
that's what people are telling him, and they're being critical of him. And it's like, I want him to be comfortable with it, and I want to know, maybe he has some information he's not sharing with them. But it seems like that he's like not moving, and people are like, yo, even Nicki Minaj has said, yo, take care of Kai, and they're not fucking what Nicki said. It's like they're not listening. Yeah. Drake said it. All these people who you would think Amazon would be like, Nicki and Drake? Nicki said she'll come if they just take care of them. Like, usually Spotify busts a move on some shit like that. So,
but that's why I feel for Kai too. Like, it's a crazy position to be in where you don't just represent yourself, you represent
the market,
this entire market. Like, the decision you make now will define.
Shifts. Yes.
Like, you are him.
Yes.
Like, so I kind of understand why he's taking this.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't want them to force it, because it feels like and it seemed like it's weighing on him, because he's starting to try to defend himself and be like, it's not true. I'm not no, it's not, bro. Tell him that I could have took that deal and da-da-da. It's like, bro, don't let him trick you. Just take your time.
Yep.
You have all the leverage in the world. You have all the context in the world. Take your time. Don't let these little guys trick you into busting a move, because if you crash out, they're just going to laugh. They're just going to laugh. Andrew Tate. We just were told by your producer.
Yes.
400,000 people watched his live stream.
And that ties into the Joe Rogan conversation as well. The same way Tucker Carlson is taking Twitter bags, I think there's just another market besides Rogan and Spotify.
I think
Tate now, like, he would have to go with someone like a Rumble that would put a bill up for him at that point.
Yeah, because he's that powerful. For 400,000 people. I was watching Pat Bev, and it was like 160,000 in there just at once. And for Tate, you know they got new charges on him. I believe these interviews are not helping his situation.
He's it's funny, me and Julian were having this conversation walking here today after watching the Valuetainment interview that Andrew
shout out
he is
Pat
one of
PBD.
the greatest manipulators of all time. Like, I know what time it is when I listen to him talk.
You believe him to be a manipulator?
100%.
Okay, how?
He's back to like 48 Laws of Power. He has mastered that. Like, the three of us could listen to his shit and know what time it is to some degree, like what's entertainment, what's not.
Yeah.
He is so entertaining and so compelling that every fucking lie he gets off sounds true. Like, I was even watching him on the Valuetainment talk about him converting to Islam. And I have a lot of Islamic friends. I'm very, very, very well versed in that religion. I could tell his response to him converting was absolute bullshit, but it was fucking compelling.
What did he say?
And I could
forgot.
honestly understand why someone would think he's telling the truth.
What did he say? I forgot. I know he said he went from
he was
Christian to atheist.
Yeah, and I, as someone that grew up Irish Catholic, like, he is right in his argument that Islam is probably the last religion that actually believes in the values that are within the book and their religion, whereas me growing up Catholic, you don't really have to live by that shit. Just ask for forgiveness.
Right.
So he made an incredible, compelling argument, but I know he's trolling. He's just a very intelligent...
How? Because the fans are going to want me to have you explain that and just not let you get that off. Like, I know he's trolling. I know he's full of shit. All right, now, Rory,
let me put it this way.
You have the floor.
Let me put it this way. I don't know he is. I'm making an assumption.
Okay.
Watching Andrew Tate for quite some time, he comes across to me as very much a manipulator, a troll, but also an extremely intelligent human being. And he knows when he says certain things, the reaction it will get, and nobody could put together an argument better than him when it comes to
He is one of the most great.
that.
Yeah, he's definitely, in that space, he's definitely a force to be reckoned with.
But I've also studied when he's broken character. Like, I can tell, like, you and I know, sometimes you could just tell with people when they lie. So your fans will be like, well, he didn't give a compelling argument now.
Right.
I just know. It's a feeling I have.
Yeah.
He's lying. But he's the best at it. So, again, his cases, I don't know anything about it.
I don't take him to be a liar. I don't know, man.
Not a liar. All right, a liar, not per se.
Now, here's what I will say.
He embellishes, and liar's hard to say because he tells the lies that you can't really combat because it's him. Like, I can't say you're lying about your religion, even though I'm kind of saying it now. That's just shit. He's so good at placing his lies that can't really be debated because you can't debate that shit. If you feel that way and you're giving a good argument, now I look nuts
kind of bad
for even saying you're lying right now.
But you're saying it.
I know. That's why he's so fucking good.
Oh, so, okay. Now I
you
see
get what I'm saying? That's why he's so fucking good.
So what you're saying is, how I would say it is, he puts you in a trick bag.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And you know he's lying, but you're like, he makes a good point.
Wow.
That's why that guy is the fucking GOAT when it comes to manipulation, narratives.
Now, with these interviews, I find if he's so intelligent, somebody has to help me understand why do these interviews when he's almost what looked like to be almost off. Now, unless he thinks, no, they're coming with something anyway, so I need to kind of get out in front of it. I don't see why do the interviews.
Because he's in the place now that his fans, he's such a cult that you could get actual proof that he was a sex trafficker, and nothing's going to change within his community.
Right.
They're all going to love him because he's a cult leader. The same way, did you watch, what's the shit in Texas?
You think he has a cult?
Yes. No, literally has a cult. I watched the Vice doc. He has people living.
Oh, shit. I forgot about that. Was that a cult? What was that?
I watched. Yeah. David Koresh. All right, so David Koresh was a perfect example as well of what I'm talking about when it comes to Andrew Tate. David Koresh made such a compelling argument that it wasn't a cult. It was just a bunch of people that believed the exact same thing. No one was forced against their will. They were all here to do what they wanted to do. But that came from manipulation, and you were doing nasty shit, even though those people wanted to do the nasty shit that you wanted to do. Like, why that standoff happened
but how
go for a month was because what he was saying, like, he was right. He's not breaking the law, but you're doing some nasty shit in here right now.
Right.
And that needs to stop.
Right.
But his arguments are so compelling and are fact-based that you
so if that's the case, then how can see that?
We can't. That's why I'm sitting here as a hypocrite. Like, I think he's lying, but I have no proof that he's
Right. For him to do a 4.5-hour interview on bond in Romania,
crazy.
I just didn't get that. And then he criticized them people. He went at them people saying certain stuff. Of course, he didn't talk in particular about the case, but to sit there all the time, and I'm utterly and honestly 100% utterly, I'm utterly, he keeps using that. I always hear him say that, I'm utterly 100% innocent.
And
I know this case way more than you, and I'm utterly telling you, and it's like,
okay, as someone that's been outside, when people use a certain word. So we're saying the same. I know he lying because I know liars.
Or that's his
and the
technique.
fact that you keep using that same fucking word every time.
Is technique involved?
Yes, you are manipulating.
Is there technique involved in the truth?
Car salesman. Absolutely. And that goes back to 48 Laws of Power. And that cult-based shit, almost even back to the ego of the villain thing. Like, Andrew Tate has become the villain, and he's leaned into it more, and fan bases too go into wanting to like the villain. It's why we like superhero movies. It's like any cinema. The fan base cult shit that we have within the internet now, yeah, you get the good guy, but people love to love the villain. He's leaning into all that shit.
Yeah.
And because some of our egos like to be hated, that means our fan base also likes the guy that wants to be hated.
Who's worth more in the market, podcast market, Rogan or Tate?
Rogan. And that's unfair.
You think Rogan can get 400,000 people watching?
Andrew Tate is based off moments. Rogan has a returning customer that if he doesn't have a moment, he'll be there. I think the moments are important for him, and they've been lacking, but he has a returning customer. Tate, I'm not going to sit and watch
I think Rogan as well.
Week to week Andrew Tate podcast. I'm not going to.
I think Rogan as
I'll
well.
watch his moments.
I think Rogan as well, and I think for different reasons. I think because Rogan is a good host, and Tate is a good guest. And so I think that the guest thing may run out before the host thing, right?
The villain is also tough. It only lasts for so long. Like, Rogan is liked amongst...
And he's not wavering either.
Us. Like, you get Chappelle and then you get Elon, like two completely different worlds, but the top of their worlds. That's what Rogan gets because he's likable. Like, that's where that whole try to be the villain thing, I understand, but it's such a short-term plan.
Right.
Like, you'll be hated for shit. 6ix9ine did it. I'm not talking about anything within Treyway or anything that.
Right.
But how he marketed himself as the villain.
Right.
It worked for so long until it was time to put an album out, and it was like, oh no, we just like your villain of being a fucking dickhead. I don't really care about you.
Full circle. This is the same thing I was saying about a lot of these people operating in that YouTube space.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, we don't really care about you. Who shot who? Like, that's what you reporting. That's why we here. We don't really give a who tell us.
Yeah.
Like, it could be anybody tell. I told Chris Monroe, let's get you up here and do what that. Like, cause
that'd be nuts.
Yo, bro, anybody saying this shit will, like, as long as they believe it to be true and first.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And so
what's the number one YouTube comment ever?
First. And that's what I'm saying. Like, so you have to pay attention to all of those things. For me, Rogan, in my opinion, warrants more than Tate. But again, I think it's because he's a good host.
Yeah.
And Tate's a good guest. You know, and I think those are the things, man. Great conversation, and we didn't even get into the weeds for real. I didn't even get into the weeds with you.
You have to come on our pod.
Yeah, man. Whenever
let's gotta chop it up.
Yeah, whenever I'll come, man. Just let's set that up, man. It's Up There Podcast, Rory, man. Y'all do something with that game. Let's get it.
It's up there. It's up there. We thank y'all so much, man. We set it up.
Hey, it's your boy Loon from It's Up There Podcast. Thank you for watching the video you just watched, and make sure you subscribe by hitting the button you see on the screen, or go to the next video by hitting this right here you see on the screen. Big It's Up There Podcast.